Today, let's see why this is the very last VHS ever released from a big studio. Let's find out. Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. I want to make something clear today, just to, remove the cobwebs about the whole last VHS thing that's been going on. Like some people talk about that stuff online a little bit and whatnot. Even on Facebook, there's some debate. Some people are saying, it's history of violence. No, it's the movie called Cars. But that one came out later on because it was a special order from Disney at the time in the US. But of course, we know that it's not just about the US when it comes to VHS tapes. Just like anything else, like with games, it's the same thing. It's not just about the US. There's games like in the UK, there's games everywhere. So what is the very last VHS that was released in the world? So we've been able to identify that it's most likely South Korea. I mean, with all those years, I've never seen anyone coming up with, like some country that released VHS after 2010 or even after 2011, because we know that South Korea had tapes until late 2010 for at least, Hollywood productions, but there was maybe one or two tapes that were released in 2011 that were Korean movies. But that said, those were like released officially by big studios. So we're not talking about like those little, companies that put out like a tape on the side just as a promotional thing. We're talking about like official releases. So anyway, it's been established that it's South Korea. Now the whole debate I was telling you about was about which one is actually the last tape. For that matter, I know most people actually don't maybe care about South Korean films, so I'm not going to include the South Korean films in this video. It's just about the last Hollywood film that was released officially on VHS. And that goes to, and we've been able to identify that it goes to Inception. Now, I'm going on some website right here just to, put some proof into this, right? Because, some people don't believe me or just couldn't find information, of course, in English on the internet. So it's the whole thing like, oh, but is it true? Is it bullshit? It's not, some one guy randomly said that, meaning me or my friend. And of course, no one believes us or barely believes us. So anyway, it's just to put some perspective here. So here I am into like one video store. Actually, it's not a store, it's just an online website, which is a South Korean website. Let me put that in Korean. It's a Korean website that sells videotapes. It does have like some DVDs as well. And I think they do sell comic books, or they used to sell comic books as well, because that's a thing in Korea. Most of those websites, when there used to be a bunch of them, they would sell comic books, DVDs, and some tapes. Why comic books in the mix? Because it's a thing in Korea, because you used to have like video stores and they had both comic books and DVDs and tapes. That's how it worked in Asia for the most part. I think in Japan it's very similar. It's not like the whole blockbuster thing that was going on in the West. Like they didn't really have that in South Korea. It was very different experience to go to a video store. So anyway, this is a website that sells used videotapes. So if you're wondering where to get tapes online, well, this will be one. Although it's not like I would not advise you to go there and buy tapes. Well, first of all, because you need to be in South Korea, you need to understand Korean, because as you can see, the whole site is in Korean. Although it's not too hard to navigate, because of course you can always use Google Translate. I'm going to do right now. And see, I put the whole website in English. So if I click on a random movie, see you have the translation in English, so all the information you need. Even they put the production date here, 2008, and they put even the month. So it tells you when this actual tape came out. I mean, not on the day of release, but at least in the month of release and the year. So this is what I want to clarify with you today regarding Inception. So what I was gonna say, oh yeah, so yeah, of course you can go into this website, buy stuff, But yeah, you need a Korean account, you need a Korean address, so it cannot be shipped to the US, or maybe it can, but you need a proxy, and it costs money, it costs time. Of course, some of the tapes here you will see are pretty cheap. But there's like a bunch of collectors in South Korea, including maybe myself and some other people that are resellers. There's not that many resellers though, but they will be on this 24/7, I assure you. So if you do see something like extremely rare, chances it's going to be gone by the time you ask a proxy to get it. So that's why I'm just saying, like, it's cool, but at the same time, yeah, even myself, I missed opportunities in there. Just to show you very quickly, I think it's page 13 or 14. Yeah, I'm just gonna try and check. It's not there. Anyway, there was a copy, let's say, of The Dark Knight or whatever, and it was going for like about $12. So of course, the minute I saw it, it was gone. So yeah, things like stuff like here, G.I. Joe, see, oh, 5,001, which equals to, I don't know, $3.50. Well, it's sold out, and it's the case for all those late releases. So I mean, you can go and check, it's fun to browse. So the website is called Book Call. So it's bookcall.co.kr, not .com. So you can browse like I'm doing right now, but yeah, chances are everything you will want to buy is already gone. And they don't restock very often. I would say maybe once a year, or not even. So it's really hard to get stuff from there anymore anyway, you know, like everything. I did check this website like page by page back in the days, and I bought like pretty much everything that was worth getting, and so is someone else in South Korea right now, so it's almost impossible to get anything decent from there. Oh yeah, there it is. See, Dark Knight, 15,001, which is what, I don't know, $12 or so, and yeah, well, it's gone. And what else? You have the Fast and Furious movie here. That's a late 2009 release, and it was about $5. It's gone. So they're all gone, and they were gone in a heartbeat. And well, the thing also with this website, and most of the Korean website that you guys need to know, is that it's fun to browse, but it's really frustrating because those websites do not delete those sold items. So you may find it, and if you cannot read Korean and you don't know that, let's say this here, this little thing in red means sold out, or on other websites, yeah, this Hangul here, then you'll just have false joy. Okay, you'll hit something and be like, oh my god, I found this rare movie, but boom, no, it's sold. And also do not be confused with prices. Of course, this says 7,001. I know this for sure that this one was there like not too long ago. By that I mean maybe over a year ago. But some of the tapes that are on this website have been there for ages, and by that I mean like over 10 years. So if you scroll back into those old pages, you may find something for like 3,001, which is like $2. It'll be like, oh my god, it's only $2, that's what it's worth. Well, no, because this was posted like 10-12 years ago, and they never deleted that post. Okay, so yeah, do not be confused with that, with the prices. And one more thing is those websites in South Korea, I'm just gonna put another one here, let's say Cineline. Cineline is another one. The website is always effed up, and by that I mean, like, let's say I put in Inception, okay, and I do a search. It may work, it didn't work like a couple of minutes ago. See, I hit search, it's searching forever and it's not loading. This website is totally effed up. I've been trying to use it for a couple of days now, and you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's annoying. So I cannot show you what I wanted to show you on this website because they also have a listing for Inception, but I cannot access it. So let's forget about this website for now. So yeah, anyway, what I wanted to say also about this is you see all those images. So let's say I go with something else that's overpriced. I mean, everything is overpriced on this website. Let's say this random film here. Oh no, it's not gonna load, I guess. Anyway, it was 70,001, so which is about maybe $60. Oh, it loads, my God. So yeah, $60 for a MacGyver film from 1989, whatever. So I think it's overpriced, honestly. So yeah, you want to know if the tape, first of all, is moldy, right? You want to know how is the cover art, is there any sun fade, anything? Well, you have a little magnifying glass here, so you can click, and this is what you get, okay? This is typical Korean website. You cannot enlarge this. I mean, it's barely like 20%, 25% bigger. Like, what the hell? There's no point in even putting this option, okay? So anyway, what I mean is they don't even show you the cover art. They just maybe show you the front cover, but they don't show you the back. They don't show you the spine. They don't tell you if it's moldy. They don't tell you anything. So this is how it goes when you buy stuff in South Korea. You don't know. Here, I think this is actually a scan of the cover, but that's all you get. That's all you get. You do not get to see the condition of the tape. So basically what I'm saying here is those websites are pretty much blind buys. All right. So yeah, you may pay, you may get something for a decent price, like $10. You'd be like, oh my God, I paid $10, $15, $20. I mean, with shipping and the proxy fees, whatever. Let's say $30 for Dark Knight, which is an amazing price. Well, maybe you'll get a moldy copy, and too bad, deal with it, right? Or maybe it has water damage. There's no way you can see, you can tell. And forget about asking those websites. They don't care. They may even like turn you down, say, look, you're not happy, just buy it somewhere else. And I'm not joking, it happened to someone, so that's why I'm saying that. So this is the whole story about these websites. So anyway, let's go back to the main topic, which is of course Inception. So let's enter Inception in Korean, and let's see on this website. Maybe I have to turn back the website in Korean so it works. All right. So here we go. We have two copies of Inception. We have one that is the DVD right here, which is 3001, which is about like $2.50 maybe. And here we have the VHS, which is the same price. Oh la la, it's amazing. I want to get Inception for $3. It's a nice deal, right? Well, of course, it is sold out. You can check here, translate into English, and it does say, there you go. You can just do like this, translate into English. Sold out, yay. All right, so you cannot get this stuff. So here it says, if we do the little English translation for the tape, it says top bottom. By the way, this means part 1, part 2 because it's on 2 cassettes. Yeah, sold out. There's a little bit of information about the movie, but it doesn't say anything about the date, right? We want to know about the date here. When was the VHS of Inception released? To prove that it's the last VHS that's been released in South Korea, I mean for Hollywood films, right? So let me go onto like another website or a picture I found. The first one here is for the Japanese DVD of Inception. So at least you know it's in Asia. Very close market, it's not the same, because in North America the DVD came out early December, right? I think it was the first week of December, but in Asia it was later on. So here we have a proof, and this is the DVD. So the DVD says the 21st of December 2010. So this was the release date of the DVD in Japan. Well, of course, you're saying, well, Korea, maybe it was like 3 weeks before. Well, first of all, it was not before the American release. So here we have an example of the DVD. So this is from Yes Asia, you can check it out. So we have the Inception DVD, 2 discs, Korean release, right? And what does it say? Oh, right here, release date 2010, the 21st of December. The one website I wanted to show you is actually the only one that lists Inception release date. But like I said, this website is so broken that I kind of don't really want to rely on it. But the Cine line that had a hard time to load up for Inception, the release date for that one, they list it as December 25th. But if we look on the calendar, December 25th of 2010 happens to be on a Saturday or even a Sunday. So I would really doubt that they would release it on a weekend. So I think they just dump that date there, which was an approximate. But I do believe that around, yeah, the week of the 21st, so around that, so I think 21st was what, if it was Sunday, it was maybe like on a Thursday, Wednesday, on that week for the DVD, and maybe around the same day, or maybe a day or two before or after for the VHS would totally make sense. So pretty much the last week of December. And of course, in South Korea, Christmas is a day off, and New Year is also a day off. So those days would be off for a release date, obviously. So anyway, this brings us to the fact that Inception is most likely very late December, end of December, around Christmas, a few days before Christmas. And I do not know any other releases that were released around that time. There were a couple of early December, mid-December, but this is the latest of December of all the releases I know. So it's a common fact now that Inception is in fact the very last Hollywood movie that was officially released on VHS in South Korea, and also therefore in the world. It is the very last Hollywood movie released on tape in the world, period. All right, so I hope this clears up all the all the doubts. Maybe not. I mean, this is the best search I could do, because in South Korea and usually in Asia, they don't really put out like the info about this stuff. You really have to dig onto the internet to find this stuff out, because yeah, they don't list any of that stuff. So here it is, Inception. The tape is on 2 cassettes. As you can see, we have part 1 and part 2 right here, and this copy is actually amazing. It's so beautiful. There's no, I mean, usually what happens with those late releases these days, because I mean, late releases 2010, late 2010, even though it's not too far away from, I mean, it's 14 years ago, 13 years ago. South Korea has a very bad climate. I mean, it's raining sometimes. It could be very humid. It could be extremely hot during July and August. So all this together, and also the way the houses are built, the isolation and everything, can affect the climate with storage. All right. So those tapes, even though they're not that old, it can affect, with years, like how you find them, the shape, the condition. But those two are in very good shape. The reason is because actually they were my tapes a couple of years ago. I think it's maybe more than 5 years ago when I found those 2 tapes, and I sold them to someone in Europe. It turns out that we did a trade, and he sent those back to me. So I was extremely fortunate, because you cannot find this anymore in South Korea. I mean, I would think that at some point I would, but I mean, that point's been, like I said, ever since this copy, which is over 5 years ago, and I never found another copy ever since. Even though you might say, hey, come on, it's Inception, it's nothing rare. You're right. On DVD, it's not rare. You can find it anywhere, or Blu-ray, whatever. I mean, Korean release, I mean. But videotape, the thing is, once again, I mean, I may sound like a broken record here, but anything released in 2010 was released in extremely small quantity, okay? And I cannot put any numbers, I'm sorry. I cannot say like, oh, was it 500, was it 1,000? Again, with the logic of things, because I produced DVDs before, and I remember, like, when you deal with companies, they want you to put out at least 1,000 units. It's kind of like just a requirements by the company. They won't come up and say, oh, 50 is fine. I mean, there's some companies that do deal with small amounts, but I mean, we're talking about big studios here. It's Warner Brothers. And I don't think they went up to a company and say, hey, can you produce 50 tapes for all Korea? That would be ridiculous, right? So my guess is it's over 1,000 copies. And of course, by 2010, there were maybe, I don't know how many video stores left in South Korea, but they were slowly dying out. Even if, let's say, they were still renting out DVDs and stuff, even today, I mean, there's barely any more video rental stores, if any at all, remaining. So yeah, anyway, it boils down to that. So again, my estimate would be, I don't know, maybe between 1,000 and 10,000 copies. But I mean, with the fact that we cannot even find any remaining copies in the wild of this, leads me to think that there were fewer than, you know, obviously 5,000 copies, because otherwise they would pop up way more often, because there are other copies of other movies from 2009, 2010 that would come up more often. But Inception is one that doesn't really come out often, if at all, these days at least. I've seen more copies of Avatar coming out than this. Okay, so anyway, back to the topic, because I'm going a bit off here, but it's to determine if it's the very last movie that was released on VHS, right? So once again, let's go on the back. Let me zoom in and focus on this. So you see, obviously we have 2010, we have 12, which indicates that it's December. And again, with everything I showed you just previously, it points out that it may have been released around, let's say, between the 20th and Christmas, let's say. There's no specific date for the VHS itself, but we did find information about the DVD release, so that is a fact. So the tape would have been around the same time. They never release a tape, let's say, like a month later or something. It would be like a very rare thing to do. But if anything, the tape would have come out usually, I think, after the DVD release. So if the DVD was 2010, the 21st of December, that means the tape could have been a few days after. And that one website that I said that had it listed on Christmas Day, on the 25th, which is very odd because it's a day off. I mean, maybe they were right. Maybe it is the 25th. For a long time, this is the date I would use. But now that I looked into it a bit more in depth, yeah, it would have been around the 21st for the release of this film. So at the very end of 2010, which makes it the very last American Hollywood film released on VHS in the world. So that is a historical piece, to say the least. I mean, you know, it's literally 4 years after History of Violence and Cars on VHS in the US. So this is quite substantial in time. And also that leads up to everything that's been released between 2006 and 2010. There's like hundreds of tapes there. If not, well, no, maybe not 1,000, but well, maybe if you count, you know, in South Korea, all the other releases like Chinese movies, Japanese movies, Korean films, and so on. But for Hollywood films, it's a couple hundred for sure. So yeah, this is it, the very last movie, Hollywood production that ever been released on VHS officially in a country, and it's South Korea, and it is Inception. Before we finish this video, because maybe it's the first time for you to see those two tapes, as you can see, they're both the exact same thing, besides the part 1, part 2 on the side. But the front cover is the same, again with the part 1, part 2 on the cover. This back is the same as well, same thing, same graphics, same visual. And let me show you just one tape so you can see. So here we have tape number 2. Sadly, somebody just wrote 2 on it. I can't remember if that was when I bought it, maybe. Of course, here you have the tab. I think it's called the flap, the tab. Anyway, this part, which clearly says Warner Brothers, so it's an official videotape from Warner Brothers, right there. So yeah, there it is, and it's super clean, of course, which is something, right? Because back when I bought this, it was clean. If I was to find one copy today, I would bet that it would have mold. I mean, a copy from South Korea, like if I was to find one miraculously tomorrow, I would bet that it would have mold in it. But this one doesn't. I didn't even have to clean anything. It was like pristine like it is right now. So there you go. And here is the side sticker if you want to see, because I know some people really like to check that stuff out. So yeah, the two stickers, like I said, are the same except for the part 1, part 2 in Hangul that you have right here. Again, I can show you the other tape. I mean, again, it's the same thing, but yeah. Again, someone wrote a little 1 on it. And again, Warner Brothers. There we go. Yeah. And it's also very clean. So yeah, I was debating like if I should sell it or not. And you know me, I always end up, saying that, and eventually I sell stuff because that's my thing. I sell those videotapes. I want to make people happy, and of course I want to make some money on the side. It's my wife's birthday very soon, so I may need some coins. So I may sell this videotape. Yeah, maybe something like in a week from now. As you can see, by the way, look. Well, it looks like it did have some maybe humidity, but not really any water damage. Yeah, there's a little bit of tiny stain here. Sorry, let me just focus a bit. Yeah, but it's, like if you look at it like this, it's very beautiful. I mean, that wouldn't concern me too much. It was like that when I purchased it, and even 5 years ago. See what I mean? South Korea is not very gentle with the with the weather and everything. The temperature here, not very good for videotapes, but hey, it is what it is. I try to keep that stuff clean as much as possible, clean them up, make them look pristine, make them look good for anyone's collection. If you want to put it on a shelf, you buy my stuff, you know what you're getting into. You're getting like decent copies, nothing moldy, there's no bad surprises. I mean, it could happen, but I do my best to clean that stuff up, make it look pristine, make it look nice. And yeah, so yeah, this is gonna be for sale, I guess, pretty soon. Yeah, anyone who will own that will own a piece of history, because as I said, last Hollywood film ever released on VHS. That's what it is right there. There's no other tape than that one. There would be like the last VHS release, which would be another Korean tape, which is probably like the tape that followed the release of this one tape, and that was early 2011, but I have yet to find it. It's called Hunters, but H-A-U-N-T-E-R-S, Hunters, which is a Korean film. I think it's kind of a thriller. I've seen the cover, because you can probably check it out on the internet. There's probably some photos of it, or the Korean poster. But I have yet to find the actual VHS. So that would be the last VHS. But anyway, no, like I said, most people don't care about Korean films or foreign films. So this is the last, English spoken American film. And of course, the movie is actually a letterbox, surprisingly. And it does have, of course, Korean subtitles, but the whole film is, of course, in English. It's in NTSC, so it plays in North American VCRs, which is always a good thing. All right, so there you go, guys. This is the last Hollywood film. I'm repeating myself here. I hope you liked the video. I hope it was quite comprehensive and that you've learned something. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.